When the fire has finished its work, even the ashes refuse to burn again. Congratulations, because whether you realize it or not, you've stepped out of the darkest season of your life, and it will never have permission to touch you again. Studies have shown that the human brain actually rewires itself after deep trauma, meaning you are literally not the same person who once walked into that storm. And that's the key. Storms can revisit landscapes, but they cannot revisit people who no longer exist in the form they once did. What you survived was not just another chapter. It was a furnace designed to end a cycle that had run its course. And the best part? It worked. You're out, you're free. And that particular nightmare doesn't get a sequel. You know those movies that were so bad they never dared to release a part 2? That's your past. No remakes, no reboots, done. Now buckle up, because what's ahead is the unveiling of why it all had to happen and why you'll never be dragged through that level of fire again. This is not just survival, it's graduation. Number 1. The final lesson has already been extracted. The final lesson has already been extracted. That's why it's over. Life doesn't allow pain to keep circling for no reason. It lingers only until it has finished its work in you. Once the lesson is absorbed, the experience loses its grip, because there is nothing left to teach. That's why what you just went through will never come back in the same form again. It served its purpose, and the purpose has been fulfilled. Think of the situations you've wrestled with, the tears you've cried, the prayers you've repeated until they became groans. All of that was the process of pulling something out of you that couldn't be learned in comfort. The betrayal, the silence, the delays, the setbacks, every single one of them was an instructor, and whether you knew it or not, you were a student in a class you never signed up for. You didn't just survive it. You absorbed the wisdom hidden inside it. That extraction is complete, and that's why the suffering doesn't have to repeat. Life is intentional. It doesn't allow the same fire to burn someone twice if the fire has already done its job. And that's what has happened with you. You've grown sharper, wiser, and more discerning. You can smell lies before they're spoken. You can sense danger before it approaches. You can detect manipulation before it wraps itself around you. Those abilities are the lesson, the fruit that was squeezed out of your pain. Since you already carry it, the fire has no business returning. The beauty of this truth is that it shifts your mindset. Instead of fearing, what if it happens again? You can stand in the confidence that it can't, not because you're lucky, but because you're different now. The exact test you faced no longer has a grip on you. You've graduated from it, and once you've graduated, you don't go back to retake the same class. You move forward to apply what you've learned. The final lesson has already been extracted, and that's why it's done. Number 2. Cycles end when purpose is fulfilled. Cycles end when purpose is fulfilled. That's the hidden law behind every season of hardship. You weren't stuck there because life was cruel. You were stuck there because something still needed to be completed within you. The struggle wasn't endless even though it felt like it. It was bound by purpose, and once that purpose reached maturity, the cycle had no reason to keep spinning. That's why you're standing on the other side of it now. Every painful pattern you endured was tied to a lesson, a strengthening, or a revelation. You might not have seen it while you were in the middle of it, but every delay, every heartbreak, every door that refused to open was sharpening you in some way. Life doesn't waste suffering. It bends it, stretches it, and presses it until it extracts exactly what it needs. And once it gets what it came for, the season can't continue. It collapses under its own expiration date. You've already felt how certain experiences repeat themselves until you finally see them clearly. The same type of toxic people, the same betrayals, the same disappointments, they weren't happening by accident. They were cycling because you hadn't yet recognized the pattern or claimed the strength that was hidden inside it. But the moment you finally understood it, the cycle lost its fuel. It ended because the purpose was completed. That's why what once chained you has no hold anymore. You don't need to keep looking over your shoulder, waiting for the same storm to return. It can't. The chapter has already delivered what it was meant to, and now it's closed. And here's the deeper truth. If you ever sense something similar approaching again, you won't be caught in it. You'll walk through it with clarity and authority, because you've already lived it and learned it. The purpose has been fulfilled, and that means the cycle is officially over.